Welcome to our exploration of chain bonds in organic chemistry. In this video, we'll unravel the fundamental concepts behind how atoms connect to form the backbone of organic molecules. Chain bonds are the links that hold together the carbon atoms, creating the diverse structures found in everything from simple fuels to complex biomolecules. Understanding these bonds is crucial for grasping how organic compounds behave, react, and interact in nature and industry. We'll start by defining what chain bonds are, then move through their types, properties, and significance. Get ready to dive into the fascinating world of molecular connections. Chain bonds refer to the covalent connections between carbon atoms in organic molecules. These bonds form the chains that serve as the skeletons of countless organic compounds. Whether straight, branched, or cyclic, these chains determine the molecule's shape and properties. The most common type of chain bond is the single covalent bond, but double and triple bonds also play important roles. By understanding chain bonds, chemists can predict molecular behavior, reactivity, and even physical properties like boiling and melting points. At the heart of chain bonds are covalent bonds, where atoms share electrons to achieve stability. In organic chemistry, carbon atoms typically form 4 covalent bonds, allowing for a wide variety of chain structures. These shared electrons create strong, stable connections, making organic molecules robust and versatile. Covalent bonding is not limited to carbon. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other elements also participate, but carbon's unique ability to form long chains sets it apart. Chain bonds can be single, double, or triple, depending on how many pairs of electrons are shared between carbon atoms. Single bonds are the most flexible, allowing for free rotation and giving molecules their three-dimensional shapes. Double bonds with 2 shared pairs restrict rotation and introduce rigidity, while triple bonds are even stronger and shorter, creating linear structures. The type of bond influences the molecule's reactivity and physical property. Carbon's ability to bond with itself leads to the formation of long chains, which act as the backbone of organic molecules. These chains can be straight, branched, or even form rings. The length and branching of the carbon chain greatly influence the molecule's properties such as solubility and boiling point. This versatility is why carbon is often called the building block of life. Organic molecules can have straight or branched carbon chains. Straight chains are simply a series of carbon atoms connected end to end, while branched chains have side groups attached to the main chain. The branching affects the molecule's physical and chemical properties, including how it interacts with other substances. For example, branched alkanes often have lower boiling points than their straight chain counterparts. Not all carbon chains are open-ended. Sometimes the ends of a chain connect to form a ring, creating cyclic compounds. These rings can be simple like cyclohexane or complex like aromatic benzene rings. Cyclic structures introduce new chemical behaviors and are found in many important biological molecules such as glucose and steroids. Chains can be classified as saturated or unsaturated. Saturated chains contain only single bonds between carbon atoms, making them relatively stable and less reactive. Unsaturated chains have one or more double or triple bonds, which introduce points of reactivity. This distinction is crucial in fields like nutrition, where saturated and unsaturated fats have different health impacts. Alkanes are the simplest type of organic chain, consisting only of carbon and hydrogen atoms connected by single bonds. These saturated hydrocarbons are found in natural gas and petroleum. Their general formula is CnH2n+2, and they serve as the foundation for more complex organic molecules. Alkanes are relatively unreactive, making them useful as fuels and lubricants. Alkenes and alkanes are unsaturated hydrocarbons containing double and triple bonds, respectively. Alkenes have at least one carbon-carbon double bond, while alkanes feature at least one triple bond. These multiple bonds make alkenes and alkanes more reactive than alkanes, allowing them to participate in a variety of chemical reactions, such as addition and polymerization. Isomerism is a fascinating aspect of organic chemistry. Molecules with the same molecular formula can have different structures known as isomers. In chain bonds, structural isomers differ in the arrangement of their carbon skeletons. This leads to compounds with distinct physical and chemical properties, even though they contain the same atoms. Length of a carbon chain has a significant impact on a molecule's properties. Short chains tend to be gases or liquids at room temperature, while longer chains are often solids. As the chain length increases, so do the boiling and melting points. This is why methane is a gas, while paraffin wax with much longer chains is a solid. Functional groups are specific atoms or groups of atoms attached to the carbon chain, giving molecules their unique chemical properties. Common functional groups include alcohols, carboxylic acids, and amines. The presence and position of these groups on the chain influence how the molecule reacts and interacts with other substances. Polymers are large molecules made by linking many smaller units, called monomers, through chain bonds. Examples include plastics like polyethylene and biological polymers like proteins and DNA. The properties of a polymer depend on the nature of its chain bonds and the arrangement of its monomers. This concept is central to materials science and biotechnology. Chain reactions involve a series of steps where the product of one reaction initiates the next. In organic chemistry, chain bonds play a key role in these processes, especially in polymerization and combustion. Understanding how chain bonds break and form during these reactions helps chemists design new materials and control chemical processes. The energy required to break a chain bond is called bond energy. Stronger bonds, like triple bonds, require more energy to break than single bonds. This bond strength affects the stability and reactivity of organic molecules. Chemists use bond energy data to predict reaction outcomes and design safer, more efficient processes. Hybridization is a concept that explains how atomic orbitals mix to form new orbitals for bonding. In carbon chains, sp3 hybridization leads to single bonds, sp2 to double bonds, and sp to triple bonds. This theory helps explain the shapes and angles of organic molecules, providing insight into their three-dimensional structures. Angles between chain bonds determine the overall shape of a molecule. For example, in alkanes, the tetrahedral angle of 109.5 degrees gives the molecule its characteristic geometry. Double and triple bonds alter these angles, leading to planar or linear structures. Molecular shape is crucial for understanding how molecules interact and function. Chain bonds are not just found in simple hydrocarbons. They are essential in biomolecules like proteins, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids. The sequence and structure of these chains determine the function of biological molecules, from storing genetic information to catalyzing reactions in cells. From the gasoline in your car to the plastic in your water bottle, chain bonds are everywhere. They form the basis of countless materials and products we use daily. Understanding how these bonds work helps us appreciate the science behind everyday objects and the importance of organic chemistry in modern life. Chemical reactions often involve breaking old chain bonds and forming new ones. This process is at the heart of organic synthesis, where chemists create new molecules for medicines, materials, and more. The ability to control bond formation and cleavage is a key skill in the laboratory. The type and arrangement of chain bonds influence how a molecule reacts. For example, double and triple bonds are more reactive than single bonds, making them targets for addition reactions. Chemists use this knowledge to design reactions that produce desired products efficiently. Industries rely on chain bonds for the production of fuels, plastics, pharmaceuticals, and more. The ability to manipulate these bonds allows for the creation of materials with specific properties, from flexible plastics to strong fibers. Organic chemists play a vital role in developing new products and improving existing ones. The stability of chain bonds means that some organic compounds persist in the environment, leading to pollution and health concerns. Understanding how these bonds break down helps scientists develop greener processes and biodegradable materials, reducing the impact of human activity on the planet. Organic molecules store energy in their chain bonds. When these bonds are broken, as in combustion, energy is released. This principle powers engines, heats homes, and fuels biological processes. The study of chain bonds is therefore central to understanding energy production and consumption. Many pharmaceuticals are designed by manipulating chain bonds to create molecules with specific biological activities. The structure of these chains determines how a drug interacts with its target in the body. Advances in organic chemistry have led to the development of life-saving medicines and therapies. The fats, proteins, and carbohydrates in our diet are all based on organic chain bonds. The type and arrangement of these bonds affect how our bodies process and use these nutrients. For example, unsaturated fats are considered healthier than saturated fats due to differences in their chain bonds. Materials like plastics, rubbers, and fibers owe their properties to the nature of their chain bonds. By altering the length, branching, and type of bonds, scientists can create materials with desired flexibility, strength, or durability. This field is at the intersection of chemistry, engineering, and design. The presence of certain chain bonds, especially conjugated double bonds, can affect the color of organic compounds. These bonds interact with light in unique ways, leading to the vibrant colors seen in dyes, pigments, and even natural substances like carotenoids. Aromatic compounds contain special types of cyclic chain bonds, such as those in benzene. These bonds are delocalized, meaning electrons are shared across the ring, giving aromatic compounds unique stability and reactivity. Aromatics are found in many important chemicals, including medicines and plastics. Stereochemistry deals with the spatial arrangement of atoms in molecules. Chain bonds can create different spatial configurations known as stereoisomers. These differences can have major effects, especially in biological systems where one isomer may be active and another inactive or even harmful. DNA, the molecule of life, is built from long chains of nucleotides connected by covalent bonds. The sequence and structure of these chains encode genetic information, guiding the development and functioning of all living organisms. Understanding these bonds is key to genetics and biotechnology. Proteins are made of amino acids linked by peptide bonds, a special type of chain bond. The sequence of amino acids determines the protein's structure and function. These chains fold into complex shapes, enabling proteins to perform a vast array of biological tasks. Carbohydrates, like sugars and starches, are composed of carbon chains with attached oxygen and hydrogen atoms. The arrangement of these chains determines whether the carbohydrate is a simple sugar or a complex polysaccharide. These molecules are vital for energy storage and structural support in living things. Lipids, including fats and oils, are built from long hydrocarbon chains. The saturation and length of these chains affect the lipid's properties such as melting point and solubility. Lipids play key roles in energy storage, insulation, and cell membrane structure. The polarity of a molecule depends on the nature of its chain bonds and attached groups. Nonpolar chains, like those in alkanes, do not mix well with water, while polar chains with functional groups like alcohols are more soluble. This property influences how molecules interact in solutions and biological systems. Solubility is greatly affected by the type of chain bonds present. Molecules with long nonpolar chains tend to be insoluble in water but dissolve in organic solvents. Adding polar functional groups can increase solubility in water, which is important for drug design and material science. The boiling point of an organic molecule depends on the length and type of its chain bonds. Longer chains and stronger bonds generally lead to higher boiling points. Branching can lower the boiling point by reducing the surface area available for intermolecular interactions. Similar to boiling point, the melting point of organic compounds is influenced by chain length and structure. Straight, long chains pack closely together, resulting in higher melting points. Branching disrupts packing, lowering the melting point. This knowledge is useful in designing materials with specific melting behaviors. Most organic chain bonds do not conduct electricity, but introducing conjugated double bonds or charged groups can create conductive materials. This principle is used in organic electronics such as OLEDs and solar cells, where chain bonds are engineered for specific electronic properties. Flexibility of a molecule depends on the type of chain bonds. Single bonds allow free rotation, making molecules more flexible. Double and triple bonds restrict movement, leading to rigid structures. This flexibility is important in polymers and biological molecules, affecting their function and behavior. Strength of a material often depends on the nature of its chain bonds. Strong covalent bonds in polymers like Kevlar give them exceptional strength and durability. By manipulating chain bonds, scientists can create materials for demanding applications, from bulletproof vests to aerospace components. Over time, chain bonds can break down due to heat, light, or chemical reactions. This degradation affects the lifespan of materials and is a key consideration in product design. Understanding how and why chain bonds break helps in developing longer-lasting and more sustainable products. Research into chain bonds continues to drive innovation in chemistry, materials science, and biotechnology. New techniques allow for the creation of smarter, more functional molecules and materials. The future holds exciting possibilities, from advanced medicines to sustainable plastics, all built on the foundation of chain bonds. Summary: chain bonds are the essential links that form the backbone of organic chemistry. They determine the structure, properties, and functions of countless molecules, from fuels to DNA. By understanding chain bonds, we unlock the secrets of molecular design, reactivity, and application in everyday life. Whether in the lab, industry, or nature, the study of chain bonds remains a cornerstone of scientific progress.